What's going on? I wanted to end off tonight with a boxing video. Shout out to everybody holding us down. Goodfellas Sports TV, man. And we talk about the individual networks now in boxing, where you have the app, the Zone, Premier Boxing Champions, that's premiering on Fox and premiering now on Showtime. Excuse me. And you got Top Rank and on ESPN. And what kind of sparked this idea for this video, which I probably didn't have no plans on doing it. I was reading that with the UFC and one, the strike one, whatever, the one are talking about a trade between fighters to release them out their contracts and go over to the other league. And I think boxing is going to turn into something similar to that. It's going to turn into leagues and basically individual sports, man. And I think it's really trending towards that. I remember when Premier Boxing Champions first started out, the motto was for PBC was to have their own belts. It was supposed to be like a Premier League, you know what I'm saying? Like in soccer and or football, whatever they want to call it, that sport, man. It was supposed to turn out like that, and PBC was supposed to have their own belts and stuff of that nature. And maybe it is some credence to where Bob Arum says that Al does not want to work with other promoters. And, you know, to be honest, not to veer off too much, who would want to work with other guys who tried to sue them? You know, it's always, the minority, the black guy that got to be the bigger man and turn the other cheek and try to do the right thing for the betterment of the sport. What's the point of me monopolizing the sport, monopolizing all these fighters, and I still got to work with you? No, you should be begging and pleading to work with me. You guys try to sue me. You try to tear me down. And he tried to make it hard on me. We both Harvard men, Bob Arum and Al Heyman. Eddie Hearn, I done got your fighters paid. Your fighters came over to our network and got belts like Kell Brook and got big paydays like McDowell and the rest of them. And at the end of the day, you trying to still stab me in my back. Why would I want to work with you? You know what I'm saying? While everybody else in this game is making business moves and everything is just business. Well, it's just business, for me not to work with you guys. It's just business for me take my 200 plus fighters and just do my thing on Showtime and Fox. It's just business for me to work on Premier Boxing Champions and not work with you, and he can look at it that way. I never heard the man talk, so I can't speak on it. And I like it that way. Can't nobody put nothing or take nothing out your mouth. But the way boxing is going to be individual belts. It's going to be individual networks, individual leagues. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. And if it got to come to that, so be it. At least it'll stop some of the chatter about the fights that people want to see. We having fantasy fight with active fighters. I've never seen nothing like that. You legitimately having fantasy fights with active fighters. Where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're gonna see PBC have their own belt. The Zone gonna have their own belt. And at the end of the day, the positive thing about it, because it's always a positive, and I try to look for a positive. The positive thing about if they do have their own individual leagues and their own individual belts and ranking systems and stuff of that nature, I believe it's good, because then the WBC, WBA, and the IBF don't run shit no more. And of course, one of these promoters are going to try to run over there and try to get all those belts and act like it matter this, it matter that. But ultimately, it don't matter. If you're not going to fight the best, you're just going to fight the best on the Zone, which the Zone doesn't have that good of roster. And people try to tell me the Zone got the best roster. I'm like, dude, these dudes are straight smoking dick, dog. Straight up, nothing else. These dudes are smoking dick to think that the Zone got the best roster because Canelo on there. You know what I'm saying? In the World Boxing Super Series, them not included. Them fighters not tied to the Zone. The tournament got to deal with the Zone. When the tournament gone, them dudes go their separate way. Okay? And that's what people saying that. Nobody roster is better than PBC roster, and you got to admit it. And they might not be making the best fight the best all the time, but guess what? They second and third best is still better than the fights you're getting on ESPN, you're getting on the Zone. The Zone doesn't even compete with ESPN with the shitty cards they got going on. You know what I'm saying? And, that's just the fact of the matter of it, man. But, yeah, I see it going that way. And that sparked that strike force of that one league, and UFC talking about a trade for Demetrius Johnson and another fighter. That's how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum already been talking about that. Oh, yeah, let's do a trade, a trade for, we do Mikey and Lomachenko over here, and we could do Crawford and Earl over there. Let's just do a trade. They already talking about trades with boxers. What is this, the NBA? The NFL, these dudes is legitimately talking about a trade. They're going to have a real trade deadline and all that. It's just crazy. And then the one thing that can bring sanity to the sport of boxing, the sanction belt body, by ordering these fights or stripping these fighters, they bringing more insanity into the equation. They confusing with all these super intern belts, with all these rules that only apply to certain fighters, and you got 8 super belts, you got to defend your belt every 18 months and it turned to 36 months. It's a joke. It's a straight up joke. You're going to see it with a point where guys are just going to fight on the zone and fight the competition on the zone. It's going to be a pool of free agent fighters. You know what I'm saying? That's just not tied to a network, not tied to a banner, not tied to the zone, not tied to ESPN and PBC. You're going to see them crop of free agent fighters. They're going to be, minimum, like, I want to bid some like Collazo, mid-grade, journeyman fighters. And you're going to just see, the zone and ESPN pull from that pool when they need a fight. And then when they ready to make, when they got other in-house fights that they can make, they gonna make them. Same thing for PBC. All them rosters they got, they're not gonna really have to pull from that free agent type pool. But if they do, they'll be able to pull and get some fighters there. And that's what it's coming to. This shit is split up leagues because Top Rank ain't sending nobody to no app. He said he don't want to send nobody to Showtime. He didn't want to send Lomachenko to HBO. So you gonna send them to an app that don't even do no views. They don't even release their viewership. And at the end of the day, they can say this man that's worth $16.1 billion, that's the owner of the zone. But at one point, how much money you going to pour into it before you're not giving no profit for it? What type of businessman don't want to make a profit in the zone? I guarantee you it's not pulling a profit. It won't pull a profit. Unless something drastic change. He going to be in the red for the betterment of boxing. And then they talk about him. He wants to compete to win the NFL rights. Then what's next? The NBA rights? Nah, you're going to take a hella loss. You're going to be in the red real quick. $365 million for Canelo Alvarez. You must be smoking dick. You know what I'm saying? That dude ain't got that pool. That dude ain't even a star in America. He not even synonymous with his sport in America. When people say boxing, people still think Floyd Mayweather. People still think Manny Pacquiao. Ain't none of these dudes in Detroit or Chicago or down there in Baton Rouge, out there in these other cities. Ain't none of these dudes ordering Canelo and going over their homeboy house and having a Canelo fight party. Ain't nobody doing that. Mexican Americans and Mexicans doing that. And some hardcore boxing fans. Canelo Alvarez ain't no pool where you people think he's synonymous with boxing. He on Billboard. Nah. Andy Joshua not like that over here neither. And it's very few of those guys in the sport of boxing right now. And I wanted the zone actually do their research about the numbers that Triple G and Canelo did. I wonder did they do their research. Because them dudes be lying about the numbers they be doing, man. But, to end on this point, like I said, I see boxing going into leagues, man. I really do. I see boxing going into leagues. And they want to make a big fight. I guess they gonna do a trade or something. I don't know, but I see this thing going into leagues. I see it just dividing the community up more. And if it's gonna be divided and they're not gonna want to work together, okay. If they're not gonna want to work together, fine. Divide it up. I'm all for it. Everybody had their own individual belts. Let's get rid of the sanctioning belt bodies. And everybody just be champions on their network. Because it don't matter. Either way, you're not getting a fight. And at least we know with these individual leagues, we can stop fantasizing about fights. We can just talk about realistic fights. So I think it's for the better good of boxing. It's for the better good of stopping all this redundant subject matters. It's good for people to stop hoping and crossing fingers. Just do your own thing. And if y'all want to make a fight for the betterment of boxing, y'all can make the fight. But if they want to go on into their own separate leagues and networks, just do so. Just come out and announce it. We only going to work with this. Woo. Special circumstances. We'll make this fight. And I think it'll make the community a lot more comfortable being at peace with the situation. But it's good for the Sports TV. Don't forget, want to hit me up, Facebook or email me, video requests, questions, whatever the business may be. Inquiries, both links in the description. Want to make a donation, that link's in the description as well. Shout out to everybody that do donate. Shout out to Mr. White that donated last night. Appreciate it, family. And everybody else that do hold us down. Goodfellas Sports TV. And we gone.